Happy Easter Sunday to everyone here on the show. We're back, another edition of Next Gen Jets on this Sunday, April 20th, 2025. Easter Sunday. Hope everyone had a great day, great Easter. 9 p.m. start time. We all had some obligations during the holiday. I was out and I watched an incredible Mets win to secure a series sweep over the St. Louis Cardinals. Beautiful outing out of Clay Holmes. Bats came alive at the right time. I know Brandon Nimmo's still in a slump, but a good way to see him rebound, robbing a home run, stealing one from right fielder Jordan Walker. So super fun time at the Mets game. Hope everyone had a great day, enjoyed their Easter. Josh, I know you don't celebrate Easter, but I hope you had a great day.
Thanks, Connor. You too.
Appreciate it. How you doing?
Very good. Excited to be on Sunday.
Chris, the second time in 24 hours we meet. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. On this fine Easter Sunday, he is risen. Jesus loves you all. And I'm excited to break down some Jets news today, man.
Smash the like button, hit subscribe. Completely free, helps us grow significantly. Super Chats membership's also a great way to help us grow. Over gifted membership or $2.99 Super Chat will get you a raffle entry. Your support is much appreciated. Super Chats memberships, like I said, really do go a long way, and they get you raffle entries. Again, we're in the dog days before the NFL draft. A lot of smoke screen, but a new report I kind of want to dig into here, and this comes way of ESPN's Rich Cimini. We hear Will Campbell, but more specifically Armand Membu is the target for the Jets to select when it comes to offensive line with the number 7 overall pick. But Cimini today, in his weekly news dump column, pointed out a new name that Jet fans should keep their eye on with the NFL draft quickly approaching. So what Cimini wrote: the popular mock draft choice for the Jets at number 7 overall is Missouri right tackle Armand Membu, whose stock has risen since an impressive combine. But what if Membu's off the board? There's a chance he could get picked at number 6 overall by the Las Vegas Raiders. In that case, the Jets could opt for Penn State tight end or Texas tackle Kelvin Banks Jr., a name that hasn't garnered much buzz in the top 10. And then he went on to point out how Banks and Aaron Glenn, Jets head coach, came from the same hometown. So there's that connection there. And now we're hearing Kelvin Banks as the third offensive lineman. Chris, I'm not even going to bother asking you about this because I know what your answer is going to be. Josh, I know you've been a fan all along. You've been a fan of Membu. You've been a fan of building the trenches. Thoughts on Kelvin Banks as a potential fit with the Jets?
Yeah, I think that if Membu is off the board, I guess we're thinking Jags, Raiders, possibly either of those two, maybe even the Patriots if they want to go with him there. That Kelvin Banks Jr. would be a good number 2 option because I guess your other option would be Will Campbell, and they're serious concern that there's going to be problems with his quote-unquote, not long enough arms. He'd have to slide over to guard, and at that point, the Jets wouldn't really need him. But Kelvin Banks Jr., I think he's a really good option there at 7 if Membu isn't there. But, I mean, we know how Chris feels about this, that you'd rather go pass catcher. How invested into the offensive line are you? Are you, is it set in steel that you are going offensive line and whoever you like most is on the board there? But maybe if Membu isn't there at 7 for whatever reason, you end up switching up your route and, I don't know, maybe Genty is there or something else turns up.
Chris?
So we all know that I'm not really a fan of taking O-line in the first round, but let me break down a scenario I see that could possibly transpire in this year's draft. So I think with the 4th overall pick, the Patriots on the board, I think that they have to take O-line. They obviously, we know they went out and got Stephon Diggs and they addressed their receiver need. So O-line is a glaring need on their team now. So depending on what they want to do, if they might take Membu, they could take Campbell. They just need they just really need a bunch of O-line positions, so they wouldn't really be hurt taking Campbell and moving him to guard. So they could take Campbell or Membu. So I think there's a chance they jump on Membu. So then Membu wouldn't be there for us, and we'd have to choose from Campbell, Banks, and Warren. And in that case, I think the obvious choice would be I'll take Warren out of that bunch. But the Jags and Raiders also might jump on one of the O-line. So it'll be interesting to see how this year's draft will take place for sure. And I just hopefully just need to see them take weapon because that's ultimately what this team needs the most.
Kelvin Banks Jr. is the exact same player as Will Campbell. Highly touted 5-star recruit coming out of high school, 3-year starter in college, arm length concerns. The only thing is Kelvin Banks is more handsy. This is something that would make absolutely no sense for me if I'm the Jets. This is someone again, like Will Campbell, played exclusively at left tackle his entire college career. The Jets have their left tackle in Olu Fashanu. They aren't looking for a left tackle. I don't get the rush by the Jets if Membu's off the board to try to take someone like Banks or Campbell and try to force them over to the other side of the line. At that point, wait for your true right tackle, second or third round, whether that's Trapillo, whether that's Ursery, whether that's Josh Connerly Jr. Wait, don't force it. And I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to it. So I really don't want Kelvin Banks Jr. and forcing him over to the right side while using a top 10 draft pick on that. I'm 1,000%. I'm not on board with that. We got a super chat. Our guy Alan comes in with $10. Alan, thank you so much for all your support here on the show. And hey to the
I do know. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Alan, we appreciate your support.
Lays.
$9.99 for Connor Long and his Genty love. Alan, appreciate you. 0.01 for Grasso and Joshy. Alan, I appreciate your support as always. Thoughts, guys?
Glaze. This is just the CL glaze we see out of Mr. Allen. So, listen, I'm not denying Genty's greatness as a prospect. I think he easily should have won Heisman over Hunter, but I don't think it would make sense. Like if you trade Brees, then maybe we'd be open to it. But why would you trade Brees and draft Genty at 7 when you're just replacing running backs? Yeah, you have, even if you're not high on Brees as a player, he can still be at least solid. We know he has vision concerns, but at least he's solid. So you need to address positions of need. Running back, even if you do trade Brees Hall, it's not really a position of need because you still have 2 young guys who just need some other like depth, if you will, because you can't really just carry 2 running backs. So even if you do trade Brees, you have Allen and Davis. So, but if you traded Brees and you wanted to draft Ashton Genty, you're just switching out. What's so funny over there, bro?
No, I'm just laughing at the comments.
But if you trade Brees and draft Genty, you're not really going anywhere. You're just like replacing. Even if you believe Genty is only is better, fine. But you're getting a better running back with the 7th overall pick that's really high. You can really go in and invest in a position of need and get a premium, starter for your team there. So that's where I'm at that. I do like Genty as a player. I don't think he's a fit for the Jets though.
How much do we really think we could realistically be getting for Brees?
Third. Middle third.
Exactly why I'm not trying to trade him.
A third?
No, I'll take a third round pick for
a third is worth it for Brees Hall.
Yeah, like we're on the topic of Genty, so I'm gonna stay there for now. If Genty's on the board at 7, I call Denver. I ask for number 85 overall for Brees Hall. I send Brees to Denver, and I draft Genty at number 7 overall. Josh, Chris, we all know.
I can see it.
Your answer, Chris. We've gone down this road many times. Josh, I want to get your thoughts because you're filling in for Jack tonight. This is your first time on the Sunday show. I want to get your thoughts on this because this is a hot topic every Sunday night for us. So I want to get your thoughts, the new fresh approach.
All right. Well, here's the thing. You can't. There's no scenario in which you can draft Ashton Genty and still have Brees Hall on this roster. Yeah, that's true. Ashton Genty's way better.
Get him out. Get him out.
Allen has single-handedly kicked him out. But if you're going to get a third-round pick for Brees Hall and in replace you're getting Ashton Genty, how big of a prospect he is, I'd be totally fine with that. And the thing is that while even if we are going to go with the Chris approach, you're just cycling running backs, which you're not, because Ashton Genty is, much better with a much higher ceiling.
Josh, a couple weeks ago, Josh, we were talking to you, and you were saying Ashton Genty played against horrible competition.
All right, but I think if you're getting a third-round pick, you're not
even clarify that. That is true. Yes, that was the funniest part, Josh. Listening to what you just said there about Genty. Meanwhile, I said almost the exact same thing as you last week in your response.
Verbatim.
Verbatim, as Chris would say. The response was, well, he played Boise State. He played for Boise State. That was the response.
Yeah, and I know I don't love Ashton Genty as a draft prospect, but he's much better than Brees Hall.
You see, you're a perfect replacement for Jack. but the thing I'm trying to get at here is that there's no need to draft Genty when you have a deep running back room. Listen,
we just said we were trading Brees Hall.
What?
We just said we were trading Brees Hall. Then you're starting running backs Isaiah Davis.
No, my thoughts were I think. Oh no, it's Davis over Braylon Allen any day of the week.
You don't know what either of them are because we had horrible coaching and you can't assess.
Davis flashed a lot more. 1,000%.
I think you put them both
I
in.
thought Brees Hall was off the team.
Glenn already what?
No, what I said, what you do if Genty is there at 7, you call the Broncos, you ask for number 85, you send Brees to Denver, you take Genty. That's like a dream.
I disagree, but it's fine.
I mean, do we actually think Genty?
There's our Genty talk for the night. Alan, we appreciate the $10 super chat that gets you 5 raffle entries, guys. Membership super chats go a long way. Every gifted membership or $2.99 super chat get you a raffle entry. If you have any questions for us, please throw those in the chat. We will get to those. You can call into the show with the pinned comment. Go over to the phone lines in a little bit. Want to get into a few more topics today. We'll stick with the draft. I know Chris is big on pass catcher. We all know that, and I know Josh is big on building the trenches. I'm going to throw this to Chris first. Chris, if you had to rank the Jets' 4 biggest positional needs from 4 to 1 entering the draft, what would they be?
Okay. So at number 1, so first let me clarify something before I give these rankings. So I'm not looking for the premium positions. I'm looking for the best possible player to come in and fit these needs. So just because one need is higher than the other doesn't mean I necessarily want them to take that need before the other. I'm just looking at the best possible player to fit each one of these needs. So our first need, our biggest need, I think, is a wide receiver 2 for this team. We cannot have only Garrett. That would be a mess. So wide receiver 2, then goes tight end. Then tight end for me. And then I think you can do it right tackle and defensive tackle are both kind of interchangeable. So you have to draft those. And then from there it's just depth at edge and safety for me.
Josh?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with Chris there. Definitely, I don't want Jeremy Ruckert as the tight end 1 on this roster. Tight end probably not my biggest positional need. I'd probably go maybe wide receiver, then offensive line, then tight end, then D-line, maybe. I mean,
you just said you don't want to roll into the season with Jeremy Ruckert as your starter, though. Like,
Josh, I have a question. How can you put right tackle? So you put wide receiver 2 at number 1, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you put offensive line at number 2. So that leads me to right tackle because the Jets have 4 of their 5 starting offensive line.
Yep.
How do you? And I don't want Chukwuma Okorafor to start for this team. How do you put a position of need? How do you think that's more pressing when you have someone who's been a multi-year starter at that position on your roster compared to your tight end room when you have 5 tight ends under contract who haven't combined for 650 receiving yards? I just want to get your thoughts there.
Bro, wait. First of all, I can't say his name. Second of all, didn't he quit on the Patriots last year?
Yes,
they asked him to leave or something like that? Yeah, I'm excited for him to start.
Okay, but
I mean, they're both pretty bad.
No. I want to clarify something. Just explain to me your logic behind this. I'm being serious. Please explain to me why you think someone who has starting experience filling that void and trying to get someone in is more important than trying to get a tight end 1 when all 5 of the Jets tight ends haven't combined for 650 receiving yards and Tanner Engstrand used a tight end on 86% of his snaps last season.
I think you can probably get a good enough tight end in the later rounds, so it's not like my biggest need.
But can you say the same about right tackle?
Yeah, you can. I'd just rather have an offensive lineman than a tackle because I think it's a more important position to solidify helps in both the passing and running games. And when you have
you're just trying to
mobile
get good
quarterback
players.
like Justin Fields, then you want him to have the best protection as you can because you see what happened in Chicago when he didn't.
Oh, Chris knows all about that. What happened in Chicago?
The Jets have a solid O-line, and Fields is mobile, so we have a solid O-line. We just need someone who can come in and compete with.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna play.
Okay, but why is the running game so bad?
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, Chris. Yeah, Fields is mobile, but don't you want someone on his right side, the side where he's going to scramble most, try to keep him upright?
Yes, you have him and Warren there though. And then so he rolls right. Warren chips. He rolls right. Warren goes on a seam. Justin Fields to Warren. Boom. Are
you sure he's able to hit him?
Chip and he's gonna run
a
seam
yes,
and be open.
Yes.
You feel confident he'll be able to hit him 10 yards downfield?
I do.
All right. Just wanted to clarify that there for a second. Here are mine. I'm going tight end at number 1, wide receiver 2, and number 2 on that list. Right tackle at number 3, and safety at number 4. Start with safety. You sign Cisco. You tendered Adams. You still need a strong safety. You still need a proven free safety. Boom. Edge. You all know this. Will McDonald's season, immensely overrated last year. Jermaine Johnson coming off an Achilles injury. After that, Rashad Weaver, Brandon McGregor, Eric Watts. You need depth there, hands down. Boom. Wide receiver 2. A lot of people are going to put this at 1. I get that 1,000%. Garrett Wilson's your only wide receiver. At least you have guys who have proven they have had some success. I hate Alan Lazard. He's had some success at the NFL level. Tyler Johnson's been able to maximize the opportunity. I'm not saying these players are good receivers, but the Jets don't have any tight end.
And also, one thing I mentioned about the receiver room is I think that Malachi Corley gets too much hate from this fan base. That might sound like a crazy take, but let's be honest. Yes, he made a horrible rookie mistake, but then again, he is a rookie, and this coaching staff couldn't get him on the field. We traded up for him, and it wasn't even a point to get him in play. Even when this team was out of it and we sucked, they didn't even get him on the field, which is insane. So I'm actually, I believe in Malachi Corley to be able to come in here and show a lot more than what he showed with the past regime. Hopefully, with better coaching and this regime providing more opportunities for for players to rise from the bottom to the top.
So that helps my case even a little more. That helps my case. You don't have one tight end. You have some receivers who have proven they've had some success at the NFL level. You don't have a tight end. You don't have a rosterable tight end right now. You need a tight end, especially when this team is supposed to rely on motion, especially when Justin Fields is going to need an extra blocker, especially when Justin Fields is going to need somewhat of a safety net. You need to address that. You have some receivers who've proven they can play a little. You don't have one tight end. That's the way I think of it. Thoughts there, Josh?
Yeah, I think you're right. Tight end is going to be an important positional need. But the reason I did put wide receiver over tight end is just because I think the wide receiver is just going to be a more dynamic playmaker this year. And sure, you have like a couple of veteran guys.
Offensive tackle over tight end.
Yeah, that I don't get.
Offensive tackle over tight end?
Go ahead.
What?
Go
because ahead. I just don't think that right now is. I mean, whatever it is, Chris, retool, rebuild. I don't really care.
I just want a rebuild.
Okay, it's a rebuild, and after we're done rebuilding, I want the offensive line to be great and be solidified. If you get an offensive lineman, that's great. Okay, it is a rebuild, but
no, it's not.
That's great, and you have him for 5 full years. The tight end will come, the pass catchers will come. I just don't understand. Pass catchers can come and go, but if you just have a bad offensive line, nothing's gonna form.
We don't have a bad offensive line though. They're young and ascending.
Gosh, I gotta go back to a comment. Don't listen to Chris. Retool is a word that people are afraid
to
use.
All right. I'll explain the difference between a retool and a rebuild right now.
Retool is a word that's used when people are afraid to admit a team is rebuilding.
That's completely wrong. I'll tell you, retool is when you have talent on your team like we do, and we're a couple guys away, competent coaching away, and the things we just need to click. We just need to have competent coaching, and some aspects of our game, like the special teams, was obviously awful last year. It just needs to click. So a rebuild is when you're devout of talent, and you really need to go out and you need to really build your team, get a bunch of new things. New players, entire new regime. Yes, we did just fold house, but I don't think that means we're rebuilding. We still have talent on this team. Rebuilding is when you're from the ground up. We are not from the ground up. We are from here up. We have talent. We should be able to make a run, not like a Super Bowl run. We should be able to be a competitive football team and make a playoff run if Glenn is a good coach, which is what I'll be preaching
Chris,
for the.
I don't want to spend time talking about this, but. What's the most important position in all of sports?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Listen.
No.
I don't want to. I'm not answering.
Everything runs through the quarterback. Everything runs through the quarterback, and the quarterback is Justin Fields.
The teams who are rebuilding that they do not have a young quarterback.
I don't need a preamble. I just need one word. You said quarterback. Perfect. I'm going to ask you another question. What is the most important job in an NFL front office?
All of them.
Did you say all of them? General manager. Perfect. What's the most important position on a coaching staff?
Head coach.
Perfect. So you just named the most important. So there's 3 branches, right? When it comes to football, you have the front office, you have the coaching staff, you have the actual players. You name me the most important position in all of sports, which is quarterback. You name me the most important position on the coaching staff, which is head coach. You name me the most important position in the front office, which is general manager. All three of those guys are gone. That infers you are tearing down your organization and trying to start a new era, a rebuild. Starting a new era is a rebuild.
Rebuilding infers that your team sucks. We do not
No,
suck.
it does not. No,
That's hence a retool. We are not fully rebuilding because our team doesn't suck.
Okay, show me where it says that you have to suck to have it. They do suck. They won 5 games last year.
Yeah, it was just a mess of a year. That's why we folded house.
They sucked, though. You have to admit that. 5 winnings is sucking.
It's not like they were getting blown out every game.
They won 5 games.
Okay, we lost so many one-score games due to coaching.
You can do the tit for tat. They won 5 games. That's the bottom line. The record was 5-12.
But it's a retool because rebuilding, you are devout of young talent, and most importantly, you mentioned this, a young quarterback. We brought in a quarterback who are gambling on their upside.
But you got rid of your old one, which infers you are tearing it down and rebuilding it.
But we have a young quarterback, though. We have somebody we're like,
after you let go your old.
Ultimately, whatever you want to call it, we are setting ourselves up for success. No, because even if Fields doesn't work out, you're gonna go. If he sucks, you're gonna go and draft your guy next year anyway. Then when you have a rookie quarterback, then I'll start calling it rebuilding. If we suck this year, it's rebuilding. I'll give you that. But for now, we have talent on this team. If this coaching staff is good, we will be a competitive team this year because we have talent. So listen, if we suck this year, it's probably going to be Glenn's fault. That's or Fields' fault. But listen, whatever it is, we are set up for success if we can just hit on quarterback, whether that be with Fields or whether that be with Nussmeier, whether that be with anybody who we take next year. Nico Iamaleava, UCLA. Jersey's coming in soon. But
you actually bought a jersey?
Oh, what happened in the Tennessee one? Did you return it?
The light blue, like Jordan UCLA jerseys are so tough, bro. I cannot wait to order that. But
oh my gosh.
Whoever the quarterback may be, if we have, as we said, we need to put that. That's why this draft is so important. We need to get weapons for these quarterbacks who are going to come in. We can't have just Garrett Wilson. We have to pay all these guys too. We have to pay all our young talent that we have here, which we are blessed. Some teams, like at least we're not the Titans right now, going to a shitty quarterback class when you're 3-14. Like, could you imagine wanting to draft Cam Ward right now? Like, I feel so bad for Titans fans. This is a time where I could say we're lucky to be Jet fans. We don't have to go through this quarterback class, which is why I'm so happy that they brought in Fields. We can treat him as a rookie, try to see what he has, if he has any untapped potential. But because Glenn already mentioned he believes Fields was misused, and they were all the other teams he had.
What is he gonna say? What is he gonna say?
Yeah.
That's my question.
Well,
You said
he doesn't have to mention that. He doesn't have to mention that. He made it a point.
If someone asks you why did you sign Justin Fields, he's going to say that. He's not going to say, when people ask a direct question, he's going to answer it. He's not going to say he was used correctly. He just sucks.
Well, I also believe he was used not correctly.
We all do, but there's a hyperbole on everything with Aaron Glenn.
Chris,
I think we can all admit that.
Chris,
Josh.
I have a question.
Yeah, get in there, Josh.
You seem extremely excited about this new fill in the blank and about this new coaching staff and about what they'll bring. But if the ship sinks the way it did last year and we win another, 4 or 5 games and it all looks bad and none of the rookies this year panned out, how fast are you ready to ditch the Aaron Glenn ship?
So
year 1, baby. 1 weekend.
Listen, you guys have to listen to this. So it depends on the scenario, right? If Justin Fields goes out, so by the way, we have enough talent on this team.
It's just all horrible. It's literally all horrible. Everything you can imagine goes wrong.
I get this. So I'm just giving you a little like speech, if you will, before. So if there should be enough talent on this team for Glenn to come in, and if he's a good coach and if we hire a good offensive coordinator, we already know Wilkes is a reliable defensive guy. So if our offensive coordinator is solid and Glenn is a good coach, we should be able to come in with the talent we have and win at least 7 or 8 games. Because even if Fields sucks, because even if Fields goes out there and sucks, Tyrod is still reliable. So if you throw Tyrod in, you should still be able to win 7 or 8 games and salvage that into an all right season. Not a great season, but it's all right. So if everyone sucks and if God forbid what you're saying, we go 4-13, and everyone just looks terrible. I'm gonna be so I'm almost off on Glenn at that point because how is he gonna come in?
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
You're gonna be off on the guy you've been praising all off season if they go what 6-11.
I said if they go 4-13 or 5-12. So
it depends what happens.
You hear him talking all this up. If he's not a good coach, it'll shine. The same issues that the Jets have had for so long will persist. So if Glenn is a good coach, we will notice it. That's safe to say that, and we will be a competitive football team. We will win some of the one-score games that we lost last year. Our special teams unit.
You play to win the game.
You want that to be Aaron Glenn?
I don't know what all these drops you're doing, Robert. You really need to win as many games as possible, and we'll be able to tell if Glenn's a good coach.
So would 6 be disappointing?
6 would be extremely disappointing.
Yeah, all right, we appreciate you all tuning in. Smash the like, hit subscribe. Throw all your questions for us in the chat. Pin comment to call in. Super chats, memberships go a long way and get you raffle entries. One quick topic I want to get into here. Excuse me, before we go over to the phone lines. I see you guys backstage. So keep loading up your calls. Former Jet Leger Douzable revealed his ideal Jets 7-round mock draft on CBS Sports. Let's see what he has to say.
Perfect draft looks like for my New York Jets. In the first round, they take tackle Armand Membu from Mizzou, who has the most upside in this draft at the offensive tackle position.
Tell him.
Pick 42. They take defensive lineman Darius Alexander from Toledo.
This is like my worst nightmare draft.
Up and down the line of scrimmage and can grow with all-pro defensive tackle Quentin Williams.
This guy's an Eagles fan.
Pick 73. The Jets get quarterback Justin Fields, an offensive weapon with tight end Elijah Arroyo from Miami, whose speed will be a mismatch for linebackers and safeties down the seam. Pick 110. They get help in the secondary with safety Latham Ransom from Ohio State, who competes
wide receiver
safety this season. Pick 145. The Jets get a developmental speedster at wide receiver and Jalen Lane from Virginia Tech, who can play in the slot. Pick 162. Elijah Roberts from SMU is a edge
my guy
that can kick inside on passing downs. Pick 186. Ricky White from UNLV is a developmental wide receiver who will be a special teams ace. And pick 207. Jonah Monheim from USC is a interior offensive lineman that can develop into a starter in the future.
All right, that is 11-year NFL veteran, I believe, 11 or 10-year NFL veteran. Leger Douzable, former Jet, former Giant, on his ideal 7-round mock draft. I'll hop in here first. Membu, you know where I stand. Alexander, I would like at 42. I like his versatility across the line. Arroyo, I like at 73. Ransom, a great pick. Actually, Arroyo, I don't like the 1-year wonder, the injuries that he's dealt with, so I take that back. But Ransom, love that as your strong safety. Jalen Lane, Leger laid it out there great. He's a developmental speedster. Elijah Roberts, I love. Tweener type guy, can play him inside, can play him outside. Great as a run stuffer, great as a pass rusher. Ricky White, very, very fast. I think he would be a great pick for the Jets in round 6. And Jonah Monheim, you get some interior offensive line depth. Overall, though, you don't get a legit wide receiver, too. You get one tight end who I don't even think is that great of a tight end from a value perspective. I'm not too high on this, Chris.
I actually have no words. This might be the worst possible scenario I could think of for us. There's no weapon until round 3.
They didn't draft a quarterback. Though.
That's one pro. This guy somewhat knows what he's talking about. 0.01%.
He played in the NFL for 11 years.
Doesn't know shit about drafting, obviously.
I guess he knows what helps a football team win best. Maybe the offensive line.
You're not getting receiver 2 until round 5.
You're not getting a receiver 2.
Yeah, you're basically getting Malachi Corley again. I'm not gonna lie.
This is awful. I don't really know what else
Josh.
to say.
I mean, I stand on Memo at 7. That would be my ideal pick. At 42, I feel like you don't have to go D-line. It feels a little bit forced to me. But if there's someone that you really love there, for me, that's TJ Sanders. I don't even know if in round 2 he's there.
Too light.
Round 3, who'd they take? Arroyo. I like tight end. I guess. I mean, I've been high on Harold Fan Jr., but I guess tight end's fine. And the rest of the guys, I don't really know much about.
So that's Leger Douzable, 11-year NFL veteran. On what the Jets should do with the 2025 NFL Draft, ladies and gentlemen, smash the like button, hit subscribe. Get all your questions in the chat for us. Pin comment to Colin. We'll get to your questions in a little. But let's head over to the phone lines. All right, Indy Jet is first up here on the show, and he bounced off the second I clicked him. Looked like he was having some Wi-Fi difficulties. So we'll go back to Indy in a second. But Nathan is up first now here on the show. Nathan, how are you?
Hi, I just wanted to talk to you guys about just drafting in general. And I think just in general, you guys are too high on positional value. I think it's much more important just getting the best player available. And while yes, it's important to get a player that you need, but especially for a team like the Jets who's not trying to win this year, we're trying to win in the future, you got to take the best players that are there. Well, yeah, we need a receiver, we need a tackle. I don't think it's so important arguing about which one we need more. If there's a receiver we like more than a tackle, we take them. If there's a tackle we like more than a receiver, we take them. I think that, we just got to take the best player that's there. And I know you're agreeing with me, but I don't see then why you wouldn't want to take Will Campbell, because I think Will Campbell is pretty easily the best tackle in this class. If he sticks at best offensive lineman in this class. And while first of all, yes, we don't know if he can stick at tackle. If you think he can be an all-pro type guard, you got to take him, because first of all, your two guards are going to be free agents. And second of all, if you think he can be that good, you got to take him over someone like Armand Membu. While yes, he can fit your positional needs, but in a regular draft class, he's more like an end of the first round guy. So you just got to I think it's so important to take the best player instead of just, a guy that you need at a position this year when you're trying to win in the future.
So can I just jump in there real quick?
Yeah.
Just because we're not competing for a Super Bowl this year, we're still going to be competitive if we have good coaching. So I think it's so important that we give Justin Fields the tools, especially on the offensive weapon side, to come in and have a chance to be a good quarterback that we all want him to be, the great quarterback that we're all looking for him to be, So I think it's extremely important that pass catchers are first priority. Just because, and by the way, the Jets have the chance to win now if I keep on saying this over and over. If Glenn is a good coach and he coached up this talent and we have a decent draft, and that starts with pass catchers. So I think the idea that you draft best player available just because we want to be good in the future, I think that's crazy, because we need to we need to fill the holes on this team that we have now. I mean, we're never going to go anywhere just picking positions that we don't need. So
they're not going to win now. Nathan, I love what you said there, but that's my whole thought process behind getting Ashton Genty if he's still available at 7. The thing that concerns me about Campbell, though, and I get what you're saying, everything. Not only is it the arm length, he's played exclusively at left tackle. This team's looking for a right tackle. I get what you're saying about the guards. He's only played a left tackle. That concerns me. Short arms, only played a left tackle. I'm not all on board with that.
Yeah, I mean, I see that. I just think, in general, it's just so important to focus on best player available instead of, positional needs, kind of unlike what Chris is saying.
1,000%. Nathan, appreciate the call. You got any final thoughts here before we let you go?
I mean, no, that's it. Just excited for the draft. Excited to see who they get. And I mean, I'm going to back up their pick no matter what. But I mean, unless it's like a quarterback or something like that. But I mean, just excited. Hopefully we get a good player.
Well, Chris wants a quarterback,
players.
Nathan. So explain to Chris why the Jets.
Nathan, I agree with you 100% on that last part. Quarterback at 7 is a quick way to ruin your regime before it even starts. But yeah, I agree. I'm excited for the draft, man, and just hopefully just Tyler Warren. Let's manifest.
Bro,
well, thank you for having me.
No problem. Nathan, we appreciate the call as always. Everyone, if you want to call into the show, follow Nathan's footsteps, you could use the pinned comment at the top of the chat to do so. If you don't want to call in, but you want to get your thoughts heard, you can throw all your questions in the chat. We will get to those. Appreciate your support as always here on Next Gen Jets. Connor Long, Chris Grasso, and our buddy Josh Wolliver filling in for Jack Cotter. Here on the program, we appreciate all of your support. As always, about 35 minutes in here. Let's see, I'm just trying to see if there's any other hot topics we can get into. I have one that'll boil Chris's blood. Chris, do you want to hear it?
God. Sure.
Austin Mock of The Athletic.
Athletic, already a great start. One of the damn people.
One of the best NFL writers. One of the best NFL writers you will ever find. You want to hear this, Chris?
This is how you know we're going on a bad turn. Connor's calling
the Jets offseason was ranked 31st overall out of 32 teams in the NFL.
Dumb.
And this is what Mock wrote. The Aaron Rodgers era was nothing short of a disaster as the Jets offense heads into the 2025 season as one of the worst in the NFL. Outside of the interior offensive line, there isn't a position group that rates higher than 27th. And while the defense should again outpace the offense, I'm sure they're destined to be one of the league's. I'm sure they're not destined to be one of the best units anymore in the league as their defensive line projects as below average.
All right, I'll start by saying this. We obviously know the media hates the Jets. We've been knowing this.
Oh my God,
Connor will go on and rave about this guy. From hearing that, I kind of just think he's a bum.
No, I don't think it's great. Like I don't agree.
I think he's a bum, to be honest with you. This guy obviously, the Jets are building this the right way. I don't really care what anybody else has to say about it. Just because we're not going out and signing all the big names. When has that ever worked for us? I've been saying this since day one of free agency. We're getting young guys who Glenn and Muji turn on the tape. They turn on their tape and they saw qualities that they believe they can coach up and turn into quality starters, which is exactly what you're supposed to do. They're young guys. We're getting them. We're not paying them a ton of money, and we're developing them and building them into long-term starters who are going to play kind of like what we saw in Quincy. He turned into an above-average starter. So if we just need to keep on getting consistent free agent signings, and that doesn't even mean signing paying the most popular free agent a crazy amount of money like we did with Smith and Reddick, because we saw how that panned out. So people who are people are quick to rate this Jets free agency based off the name value of the players they signed, but I would encourage them to look deeper into it and look at how they are building this. Obviously the Jets are not in an all-in mode. I say that carefully because I don't like when people, say that throwing away this year just because they don't have a chance of winning the Super Bowl. I think that's dumb, especially for an organization like the Jets. I think there's extreme value in, breaking the playoff drought and, giving this regime something, an accomplishment to start off their tenure with us and give the players something to buy into. Give us all some confidence. Get this young core playoff experience. Don't waste one of the best draft classes in Jets history. So we hopefully have a coach who can come in and just maximize all the young talent we have. And we're continuing to build the right way, which is what we lacked before. This is why all these Jet fans are in a flurry right now. We are so used to them building it the wrong way and being a poverty organization that when Glenn and Muji come here and just cleanse it, everyone's in a frenzy because we're shopping at the dollar store, Five Below. Like all these people really don't know how a team needs to be built. Sometimes it is necessary to go out and get the pay free agents huge money, pay the big name free agents big money when you're really desperate at a position. But I think they're building this the right way, and they're going to continue to do so.
Josh,
wait, did you say that? I forget what the exact quote was. Did you say that we're constantly bringing in consistent free agents, or what was the quote? What'd you say?
I didn't say anything along the lines of that. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I thought you said we're bringing in consistent free agents or something like that.
No, they ranked 31st on the list. That was the whole point.
Yeah, I know.
You want to hear the quote again?
Sure. Hit me.
All right. So this is what Austin Mock of The Athletic, Chris's favorite NFL writer, clearly, as you heard, based on his argument, had to say about the Jets. The Aaron Rodgers era was nothing short of a disaster as the Jets offense heads into the 2025 season as one of the worst in the NFL. Outside of the interior of the offensive line, there isn't a position group that rates higher than 27th. And while the defense should again outpace the offense, I'm not sure they're destined to be one of the best in the league anymore, as their defensive line projects as below average.
Well, yeah, I mean, going with what Chris said, this is, you can't just rebuild overnight. When you signed Justin Fields, was the real expectation here to win more than 7 games? Chris will tell you that absolutely we could win now with a couple draft picks, and if we hit on a couple draft picks and whatever Chris always says, the regime gets the best out of the players or something like that. I just truly don't think so. I think there's just way too many holes on this team.
All right, you guys got to sort this out. I've never heard this.
I don't even know what you're saying. Did you listen to me, bro? Like, if good coaching staff makes the most out of the talent we have on this team. We have had such bad coaches that all the talent has been going to waste for the past 3 years under the entire Saleh era, and the production they still get is lucky production because these players have so much talent, but they're not even being used properly. We just need someone who can come in and make a good scheme for the love of God, instill their culture in this locker room, hold players accountable. Like,
all
the
right,
team
so
is
fill in
supposed
the
to be
blank.
built.
Fill in the blank. With this roster and a good regime, blank will happen this season.
We will go 9-8.
Oh, what? You
So
think a coaching staff can bring us from 5 and 12 to 9 and 8?
I really don't think, honestly, Josh, you know me, I'm not optimistic at all, but I really don't think, like, if everything goes right, that's that crazy to hear.
If we draft well, just say I just want one player. I just want one player to be included in my scenario here. Tyler Warren. So if say Tyler Warren ends up on this team, right? And Glenn is a good coach. And somewhere in the later rounds of the draft, we have to grab our wide receiver. And we obviously can still develop guys like Corley. Reynolds is not great, but he's reliable.
That's just a stretch.
Yeah, and we have experienced defensive coaches and so much talent. So if this coaching staff, is truly just competent to above competent, we should be in that 8 or 9 win range.
Justin Fields just doesn't show me enough to lead his team.
We'll get back to the
even if it is carried by
Josh. We'll get back to this in a minute, but let's go over to the phone lines. I think Indy Jets might be here. I guess not. Indy.
Sound the alarms.
Indy, you there? No, Indy.
Hey, Connor.
I see his camera backstage. It's weird. I see his camera backstage, but it's not like transcribing onto the Indy. Back out and rejoin. By the way, I will be watching the NFL draft, and Josh is going to. By the way, all three of us will be watching the NFL draft with Indy in 4 days in person at Clinton Hall. I don't know where Indy is, so Indy, I'm gonna kick you from the studio, and then just rejoin. We could try doing that. Jimmy comes in with the comment of the day. Aaron Rodgers, 2025 MVP.
That makes Chris's day.
We know Jimmy is alluding to a comment I made a little bit ago. If Rodgers goes,
it was like a week ago. It was not a little bit ago.
That was not a week ago. Your perception of time is messed up.
It was 2 weeks max.
Like 3-4 weeks ago.
No,
Aaron
it
Rodgers
was not.
MVP and Tyler Warren for 18-0.
I can check Jimmy's YouTube channel right now.
All right, but while we're done talking about Rodgers, I don't even know why you brought this comment up, to be honest.
Oh my God, and that's all you wanted to talk about last night, Chris.
Yeah, because last night was the final time I can vent. But everyone is ripping me in the chat. Not trying to go through that again. You guys can just admit that you're all. You guys can just
forever.
No, you guys can just admit that you're all Rodgers haters. It's fine.
No one's a Rodgers.
You all know deep down that you are all Rodgers haters.
Okay, again, Chris, we're gonna do this for the 4th night in a row. I think.
No, I'm not. We're done. It's over.
No. Again, you call me a Rodgers hater, so you got to back up your claim. What is one thing?
Bottom 10 quarterback. That's a Connor Long quote.
Tape and film mixed together equal bottom 10. Tape and film mixed together equal bottom 10.
Wait. And I didn't get your 10 times adjusted analytics in there. Tape, film, and 10 times adjusted stats.
And accuracy. That's the big thing. Jimmy says Rodgers haters. I knew he was going to say that.
Yep. You know me too well, Jimmy. Really.
We appreciate you guys as always. Chris and Connor here with you on Next Gen Jets. Josh filling in for Jack. Let's keep it going with your calls. Our Chiefs fan, King Jamie, is up next here on the show. King.
Hey, boys.
What's up, King?
What's happening, Chris?
What's up?
Hey, I'm gonna be a Rodgers hater for a minute.
Let's go.
I'm gonna tell you something that I saw from the outside looking in. So one of my bucket list things is I always wanted to see Mahomes and Rodgers play on the field. You know, they're not playing each other. But
I agree. Yeah,
both of them playing, right? And so I remember watching Rodgers when he first got in there as a starter after Favre left and went to the Jets and just stunk it up, you know. And then Favre went off to Minnesota for his little, Super Bowl run and stuff, trying to be the great Brett Favre. And I know Rodgers saw that. And then when he came to the Jets, he made it all about himself. He didn't try to get to know the boys under him. He didn't try to be a working man or a veteran and teach nobody. He just said, look, this is all about me. And they said, well, you got to learn our system. And he said, no, you're going to bring in guys that are going to use the system like I like. You know, it's about me. It's not about you. And then they brought in those guys. Hang on, buddy. They brought in those guys, and those guys stunk it up even worse. And now you have to train a whole team to know what Rodgers is going to do, and he's not even going to all the practices and stuff, right?
Thank you. Yes.
Amen.
Now, and then he says, okay, I stunk that up. I'm going to go to Minnesota because they've already got a team. Look what they did with Sam Darnold. They got a team built for me. And Minnesota said, hell no. Why? Why? Because he stunk it up, bro. He didn't try. So now he's unemployed and nobody's really shocked. You know, I mean, nobody's really shocked. I had high hopes, bro. You know, I'm a low-key Jets supporter. You know, like that's my second team. So I wanted it. I wanted him to just kick butt. When he got hurt, I was like, okay, he can be the quarterback whisperer and he can teach these younger kids how to do it. No, he didn't do that. He didn't do none of it, bro. He didn't do none of it. So if this is Rodgers' hate, or if this is just a guy looking from the outside looking in going, this man don't work. He ain't gonna work. He doesn't want to work. Maybe he should just retire. Chris, I love you, little brother. But
yeah, I love
just trying to be fair here because the whole team that he did that to deserved better. You guys deserved better. That's it.
The first thing I will say is I think the Vikings turned him away because they have a young guy they wanna bring in and
an untested young guy over a veteran.
Yeah.
No,
who missed the entire season? Who missed training camp? He got injured in training camp and suffered a season.
Yeah, he's completely untested.
A season and a whole offseason to recover. He should be. He's good.
Completely untested, and then they said no to a vet because they didn't want the drama. They said, nah, man. And Pittsburgh was like, I think we'd rather just draft a guy.
Yeah. Well, we'll just go 9-8 and get bounced in the first round with Jackson Dart. I agree with everything you're saying because, King, when he's performing and he's 2021 Aaron Rodgers, no one cares about the nonsense, the Pat McAfee nonsense, the crazy takes, the luggage that comes with him. But when he starts performing like a bottom 10 quarterback, which he was last season, that's when things that weren't problems when he was having success become problems and become glaring issues. Exactly. And that's when it becomes luggage.
And you know what, though? Watching him, he had to sit for 5 years behind Favre. Watching him when he first got in there, he went out there and he was surgical, baby. He was great. It was so fantastic to watch him.
Not Louise anymore.
And he's one of the quarterbacks. I've seen most of the quarterbacks in the league live, right, at games. But he's one of them I just have never gotten to. I had tickets to 2 different games to see him play against Mahomes, and both times he just wasn't there. And so it drives me up the wall, man. So what do you do? You know, pretty soon you got to just start saying, well, this one's not really doing good for the company. Let it go. Just let it go. Sometimes you got to retire an old Ford, no matter how good the old truck used to be. You know,
I think Rodgers still has a chance to go to the Steelers. I don't think we count that out yet. I saw that comment, but ultimately, I forgot most of the points I wanted to respond to about the
sorry about going off for so long, bud.
No, you're good, but there's so many things, man. The people talk about missing training camp for a weekend. It's annoying, but it's not that big of a deal.
Chris, I think the way
he just didn't play well.
The way you're looking at it, Chris, I think is the fact that from a practice perspective and the reps he would have gotten out of that. I don't think anyone cares about the reps. It's the principle of him not showing up. And it's the fact that it was mandatory. And he had 2 months off to schedule his ayahuasca retreat or whatever to Europe.
It was a trip to Europe.
Yes, his ayahuasca. Egypt, whatever.
Egypt.
Ayahuasca retreat to Egypt or whatever. 2 months after that, and he decides to miss mandatory minicamp. That's just unnecessary. And it created so many headaches for the team. And guess what?
It didn't create any headaches. It was 2 days.
It created a lot of headaches in the media.
So, you know what? Right. It was only a couple of days. It really was only a couple of days. But
Yes,
on the
but it
other
creates
hand, the
distractions.
guy that's out there winning Super Bowls and stuff and getting a bunch of rings early in his career, competing with the Tom Brady style of winner, is in Texas right now, off season with his receivers. Right now, Mahomes is with all of his guys in Texas practicing every single day, bro. What does it take to be a championship? Do you want it, or are you more about me? Because that's what Rodgers is. He's a meme.
And exactly, even the Rodgers haters, like guys who I really don't believe know football, a la Mike Florio, and putting the Jets as number 20. Here's the funniest part. I remember
Have you ever really believed anything Florio said, man? Are you kidding?
No, not at all. But the funniest
Friends don't
part,
let friends Florio.
my favorite part is the fact that in his pre-training camp, in his pre-training camp power rankings, he put the Jets at number 23 overall. I vividly remember that. Everyone was like, "Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! What is this guy talking about?" He actually predicted that to a T, which is hilarious. And it came the day after Aaron Rodgers missed mandatory minicamp. It's crazy to think.
What does that have to do with anything?
It has to do with the fact that Rodgers causing distractions lowered so many people's expectations because they knew this guy was not here to win, and this guy was here just to the country club environment, bring his guys in, have fun at the end of his career. This guy did.
He was in New York, but he wasn't there in New York.
I can't even.
The Jets, Chris, you were saying the Jets don't have any right to say this to a Hall of Fame quarterback.
He is a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Why not? What has he done?
100%.
Why should we show him any respect? What has he done for us?
So I'll answer this. He brought you the best 2 summers of our lives as Jeff fans. B.
So that was a lot
on the field.
we're
On the field.
Wait, hold on. His first season, 4 plays and he was injured. His second season, so many things went wrong. If he would have been healthy the first,
you didn't answer.
No. Let me finish. He would have been healthy the first season. We would have fired our coaching staff because yeah, but you're saying you can't just blame it all on Rodgers. It's not all his fault.
Connor, here's the thing.
He got Salah fired.
For me, it's less about him going to Egypt for 2 days. It's more that as soon as he got in the door, he split the locker room right in half. And there was his Green Bay buddies that he put on his Christmas wish list to get in the door that he required, and the Nate Hackett's of the world that he required, or else he would refuse to play. And there were the guys like CJ Mosley, who had been in Jet uniforms for a while, who had lived through the suffering, that just weren't going to deal with his bull crap because he had that big of an ego.
And Salah wanted him to work, so he got Salah.
That's not what happened, bro. That's not what happened.
Okay. Well, who got Salah fired then?
Woody Johnson's low-hanging high expectations and
his Madden ratings,
or was there a little bird in Woody's ear?
I'm sure there was a little Rodgers in there too. I mean, this guy had influence on every single decision.
Every single decision, dude.
He turned himself into the GM.
If you guys are, by the way, you guys are all hating on Rodgers right now. I want to make that known. But another thing is, you guys say, oh, he split the locker room in half. He's a locker room cancer. Why do most of the guys in this locker room love him and come out and support support him? When
he split it in half.
I'm not gonna say he split it in half. I'm gonna say he had his crew, and then anybody else, he just didn't work with him if he didn't like him. Did
you watch Hard Knocks? Did you watch the Jets Hard Knocks?
What's that?
Did you watch the Jets Hard Knocks?
I don't believe in watching Hard Knocks. That's a bad luck show.
Bad luck.
It's if you're on Hard Knocks, you're gonna lose.
In Hard Knocks, we saw how much he was actually working with Zach Wilson, how he was bonding with the young guys in Sauce Gardner, creating the smoke handshake.
Yeah.
The ayahuasca handshake. So he did come in, and it's not his fault that it didn't work out. It's not a lack of hard work. He tried. This organization was poverty.
Aaron Rodgers is a better actor than he is a quarterback these days. Like seriously, he's a better actor than he is a quarterback.
King, we appreciate the call.
Thanks, guys. Chris, I'm sorry, Chris. I'm sorry. Chris.
Our guy King Jamie checking in here on the show, showing some support. Always good to see our Chiefs fan. We got a lot of callers on the line, so next up, I think we got a first-time caller, Richard Murphy. is up on the show. How are you?
Hey, how you doing? Listen, a longtime Jet fan. I think we should trade up for Shador in the draft. To be honest with you.
Oh, okay.
No.
First time caller though, right?
I do think we should
First
do
time
it.
caller, right, Richard?
Yes, first time caller.
Love to see it. Love to see it. How are you?
I'm a fan of the show. I like what you guys do here.
Appreciate it.
But I think it's a long shot, and I don't know. Everyone hates Salah. I don't know what. I don't see the big deal. I hate this new guy we got. I'm not a fan. I don't know. I don't like Salah. I miss Salah. I mean, I like Salah.
well, talk to Chris. Chris is the biggest. Richard, I don't know if you know, but
Chris
is
why
the
do you hate
biggest Aaron
Salah?
Glenn
I
fan.
need to know why.
No, he's the biggest Aaron Glenn fan. He hates Salah, but he's also a big Aaron Glenn fan.
Salah was all buddy. There's no culture with that guy. He's buddy with the media. He's buddy with his players. There's no one's getting held accountable. Too many penalties. And another thing, trading up for are you serious, bro? Trading up for Sanders? You might even not have to trade up for that bum.
I don't know, man. I think Aaron
He's
Rodgers,
not close to waiting to happen.
Ran him out of town. I love Salah. I have a poster of him in my room.
Okay.
Let's see it.
He's my idol.
Trading up for Sanders.
Yeah, no. So what do we think of that? Tell me.
I don't want to trade up for any player because I don't want to give up extra draft capital, and I don't want to take
See,
Sanders.
I think we as a Jets need our quarterback. We need to draft a quarterback and actually have someone, from the ground up. We need that quarterback. We can't keep getting someone from another team.
That is next year, my friend.
That is a guy who, if we might already have that in Fields, and if Fields doesn't work out like Josh said, that's next year.
I will say I do love the Fields acquisition.
There's a positive.
There we go.
I can agree with you on that. I do love that.
What don't you like about Glenn?
Our Giants fans though? Fuck them, right? Sorry for that.
What about Aaron Glenn? What don't you like about Glenn?
Yeah, well.
Oh, he's muted. You're muted, Richard.
Wait, you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're there now. What don't you like about Aaron
Glenn?
Glenn?
I actually have to go, but this will not be my last time on this. This pod. I'll be back.
We'll
Come back, Richard.
Google your reasons why you hate Aaron Glenn.
Oh man, I could go
Richard,
off.
We appreciate the call. Have a good night.
I will talk to you guys later.
Appreciate it.
Good
Good
night.
night. Ladies and gentlemen, Richard Murphy. Richard. We appreciate the call. We appreciate your support here on the show. Let's go to someone who was thrilled with every point Richard was making, someone I will be watching the NFL draft with in 4 days. Indy Jets is kind enough to grace us with Indy,
wow.
How are you?
That dude gives me a headache. I've completely lost my train of thought now. I don't even know where the hell we were going. Are we even talking Jets? Hey, so let me ask you, Connor. You guys and Josh, you've made some phenomenal points, and I'm with you on 99% of them all night long. So just keep it up.
Thank you.
So, what do we know that Aaron Glenn is good at? Can you answer that?
Being a leader,
what do we know?
I think that's why they hired him. Like his ability to lead.
He was a pretty good defensive coordinator.
I want you to take your blinders off, and I want you to think back about all the injuries that Detroit defense had last year, and look at the players he made relevant that were nobodies.
Being able to scheme a defense for sure.
Well, not just scheme a defense, but he turned irrelevant players.
Exactly.
He turned into. I mean, Detroit wasn't a top 5 defense. I get it, but they probably had their defense was probably the most decimated out of any team in the NFL.
Yeah, I think 10 of 11 starters at one point.
Yeah, and so
in the playoffs too.
Yeah, and so if you think of the defensive players that we had last year, and we've got the majority of them all coming back this year. He wants to turn these 5th round picks and get them to play like 3rd rounders. And and 3rd round picks playing like 1st rounders. Well, if so we know he can do it. He proved that. We don't know how good he is as a head coach yet. I get it, but I think that culture that where he can take the best, or he can take an average player and make them good. He can take a good player and make them better. That's what we know he's good at.
Amen.
We just don't know if he's good at it on the offensive side of it.
We don't know if he's able to be a
so
CEO type guy and like really take on the responsibility of coaching both sides of the ball. We know what he is as a defensive coordinator. He's made it clear he's just as solid as on the offensive side of the ball. I want to see that. And Indy, that's why I've said all along, I think Tanner Engstrand is the most important coach on this coaching staff behind Aaron Glenn. This team needs to be able to build a serviceable offense.
Well, I think Aaron Glenn can do the same with his coaching staff. He can take, he can take the offensive coordinator who, again, we don't know what he's done, but I think he's just in the way he is, he can make people, he can do something Aaron Rodgers has never been able to do. And that's make people around him better than what they are.
Take responsibility as well.
All right, so Andy, going back to your point before about Glenn being able to bring guys up, that's why I'm really like not concerned about the criticism of the Jets free agency, not signing any big names, because what you're saying, Glenn is going to be able to find these guys and build them up into solid starters. Like Andre Sisco is a big one that I'm looking out for this year at safety.
We're sitting here going, boy, we didn't make big splashes in free agency. And Aaron Glenn's sitting there going, man, I can see the potential of this guy and I want him on here. And what he could do with these kind of guys. And we look at it, go, well, where's the big name? Where's the big numbers? And I think Aaron Glenn looks at it and says, man, this guy can be the big numbers guy. He can be the big impact guy. We just don't see that yet, just because he was in Detroit. Yeah. But if you look at what he did, if you go back and look at what he did in Detroit, I think that he's on the right track.
Indeed, it's been clear.
Appreciate you guys. Look forward to
for sure.
Look forward to seeing you in 3 days.
Yeah, let's go.
3 days
Thursday.
From now, at this point, all 4 of us will be witnessing in person what the Jets do with the number 7 overall pick. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Look forward to seeing you guys. Keep it up.
Thank you.
1,000%, gentlemen.
Can I touch on a couple things Indy said there?
Yeah, for sure, Indy. We appreciate the call as always. Yeah, what do you got to say, Josh?
Great call, Indy. And I think what Indy was bringing up there, since the moment Glenn's walked in the door, it's been this youth movement. It's been get guys in who don't have, don't have that much proven, but who can do good for you, who have a much higher ceiling than their floor is. You're not bringing in guys you're bringing in Tyler Johnson to just be serviceable, but Indy's right. Can they take that next step? And Connor, you played the clip earlier. It might have been interrupting Chris. If you can cue it up for us, because Aaron Rodgers did separate that locker room, whether Chris would like to admit it or not. Aaron Glenn's got to be the glue guy to bring it back together.
That's what I do know. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Yep, that's got to be the mentality. He's got to bring the locker room back together.
But it's whatever. I'll pass. I'll ignore it.
There we go. Anyways, super fun. We appreciate you all tuning in. Smash the like, hit subscribe. Here on the show, last chance to get your final question, comments, thoughts, and we're gonna wrap up here. We got some really, really fun plans implementing. I think next Monday we're starting for the show on a whole. We just got so many fun things coming with this whole Next Gen Jets brand. So please stay tuned for that. Can't thank enough for all your support as always. Chris Grosso, Connor Long here with you on the show. Josh Wolliver, our guy, did a great job filling in for Jack tonight. Josh, I'll throw it to you first. Thanks so much for fitting us into your schedule and being able to fill in for Jack. You got any final thoughts here before we end the show?
No problem. Glad I can join you guys on this great Easter Sunday. I think our last Next Gen Jets before the NFL draft. I'll be with you guys in person to see who the Jets take with 7. Should be extremely exciting. We'll get back to you next weekend with everything you need to know about whoever we draft, whoever we take. We'll break down all that. Appreciate it. Chris, Connor, had a great time, guys.
The ultimate AR truther. How are you? Another episode in the books. And by the way, I meant to tell you, Chris, I did confirm via Jimmy Jets' YouTube channel. What you said about AR was 14 days ago, exactly from today.
Okay. So, listen, I'm not an Aaron Rodgers truther. I just tell the truth about Aaron Rodgers. That's what I'll say on that.
So Rodgers truther. Thank you.
King Jamie, I still love you, brother. I think that there's a lot of this is a time for Jet fans to just open fire on Rodgers right now, and that just shows how low we are as an organization. So that's what Glenn and Moosier are going to come in and cleanse. But yeah, it was a super fun show. I'm excited to meet you guys in the Jets playpen at the Jake Asman draft party. So it's going to be fire.
100%. I say we lead everyone in the Jets chant on the way out. I think
Amen,
the ultimate AR truther in Chris Grosso needs to, Aaron Rodgers made some awful comments. So I think Chris needs to get that jet spirit back up. He's been a little down on the organization. So I think Chris needs to lead us in a jet chant on the way out. We appreciate you guys as always. Chris Grasso, Josh Williver, Connor Long, wrapping up here on NY Flight Jets Talk. And as always, Jets. Peace out. We'll see you next Sunday. Let's go, Jets.